Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Andy's away today. There are 402 new cases of COVID-19 recorded in BC over the past 24 hours. Of those, Island Health is reporting 25 new cases, but for yet another day, there have been no COVID-19 deaths. Breaking news now, the University of Victoria has just announced that as of Monday, it will no longer have any in-person exams due to the rising number of students testing positive for COVID-19. Exams will be offered online or in another format to reduce the number of students sitting together. The university says the decision was made in consultation with Island Health. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Jasmine's away today. We'll get to that story in just a moment. But first, we begin with a church in Courtenay coming under fire after a youth retreat has led to a COVID-19 outbreak. The retreat happened in mid-November and was attended by 350 kids between grades 6 and 12. Some parents who have been impacted indirectly say it was irresponsible of the church to hold the event. Kendall Hansen reports. I'm standing now across the park, well over 50 feet away from the courts, which in the summer months are usually booked up all day till 8 p.m. And despite the distance, that sound still comes in loud and clear. Despite another year without cruise ships and a significant lack of international travelers, tourism experts say Victoria still had a surprisingly strong summer. Check News has verified ICO has received more than 40 direct messages in 4 days, mostly from women sharing allegations against Wallace, ranging from unprofessional behavior to inappropriate touching. But a recent survey with the Canadian Federation of Independent Business members found that 64% of small businesses do not support any permanent employer-paid sick leave program, citing money as the main concern. So I've seen a lot of your videos, so have millions of others. I have to ask, can you teach me a few moves?
Yeah, sure, definitely. 1, 2, 1. Oh, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah. 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hey Corey, yeah, we are here on Ocean Boulevard. They have just wrapped up the Spirit Orcas, 80 kilometers around the peninsula. It's a swim that they did in stages. It took weeks. Ben, how was it? How do you feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, I like it. I want you to tell me, how excited are you for tonight's game?
Good.
Good. And tell me, what are the keys for the Royals to get the big win tonight? The shoulder shrug? Okay, so you just got to go with the flow. Listen to Liam. You got to be relaxed. You got to be natural. So puck drop goes 7:05 tonight. They're hosting the Edmonton Oil Kings. Joe, let's send it back to you. You really had to grind your way to the NHL. Was there ever a time where you thought about just hanging them up?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I have to give credit to my parents on that one, and obviously, especially my dad. He did some things for the family that is unbelievable.
What are the realistic expectations of this team? Because they've had that label of rebuild for the past few years. It looks like we're removing that label.
Well, we're pushing the bar. I said it at the end of the season. You know, we want to take a step every year.
Finally, Steve, this is likely my last question. We speak to a lot of Olympians here in Victoria who retire from sport and move on, and they have that what now moment. I want to ask you about your retirement because it seems like you wear so many hats. Do you have any advice for some of those athletes who finish sport and are moving on to the next chapter of their life?
I think the athlete, as they say, dies twice. And it's really important for an athlete to retire from a pursuit they put everything into for as long as they can remember, to recognize that they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to find a new identity. They're going to have to become a new person in some sense, and look for who they are, who that new person is going forward. Because the longer you remain attached to that identity, I think the more difficult it is to move on. And so there's some soul searching for sure. There's also, I think, some time to grieve, and because when you're so committed and you do something with everything you have, and then you stop at a young age, it can be a tricky time. And I think that athletes need to take the requisite time to understand the changes they're going through and start to plan slowly about rebuilding themselves into a new version.
A group of protesters block a critical logging road for teal cedar forestry workers.
We're passionate. We want to save the old growth. We're here also for Indigenous land sovereignty. These are unceded territories.
One protester lies under this wooden structure, while another is dangling 10 meters high from a monopod, and another two with their arms linked to the ground in a tactic called the sleeping dragon.
In the short version is either a piece of a PVC pipe or steel pipe with a anchor at the bottom. The person puts their arm into the device and do not let go.
Police take an hour to remove and arrest these two, while trying to negotiate with the group to bring the other one, high above the ground, back down. This forestry worker watches on, telling Czech News this is the daily routine. Using a lift to meet the protester in the air, police are forced to remove bike locks and wire wrapped around her neck and body. It's clear she is not cooperating. It's another arrest, more than 1,000 in the past 7 months. One freelance journalist who's been covering the clashes nationally says the tactics may vary, but events like this are the norm.
Yeah, it is very much Groundhog Day.
This operation takes around 3 hours to complete, but there's another camp to attend to just up the road, as the seemingly never-ending Fairy Creek conflict continues for another day.
Let's go try this cream.